So what I want to do today is just a really fairly brief overview of the two new features that exist on the FiddleQuest 4.0 release. And these are the badges and the skills. And I've got Jessie Watson here, who was instrumental in getting these things onto FiddleQuest. When you go on to launch into the dashboard, you've got this center tile here that describes the badges in progress and then badges that are earned. When you see like level 1 busking, it means this is the first of the busking badges. Students and teachers can go in here and read about what it is. Students are only able to get badges by working with their teachers. The teacher would go in there and mark it in progress over here, or in this case, I have marked it as complete. The first thing it would be marked as not started. You would mark it as in progress, maybe add a couple notes, and then hit save. That's how you launch it as an active badge. When it's complete, you can go in there, mark it complete, and add a note perhaps, and click save, and it gets marked done. In addition, you can also see videos and you can upload videos. And one of the big questions is, do teachers assign badges or do students initiate it? I would suggest that the students should initiate them. So I'm going to hand it over here to Jessie.
Let's just imagine you have a student in level 3, which is where skills begin. I'm choosing to start with scale. So in level 3, there's a D1 octave scale and arpeggio, GDA scale and arpeggio. In level 4, the C1 octave scale and arpeggio, G1 octave scale and arpeggio. In level 5, there's a 1 octave blues scale. The reason that's there is in the song Karina Karina. That's usually what we're using for improv. The goal for level 5 is basically to get an A2 octave scale. Level 6, you add the B flat as well as a C 2 octave scale. And I always try to line up the C 2 octave scale with La Vie en Rose, because just playing the scale and modifying your tempos is actually a really pretty improv. Then level 7, we're adding the D 2 octave scale, so they're getting more shifting. And then we have some great blues scales. There's the D2 octave blues scale, which makes sense right after the D because you're doing similar shifting. The G blues scale makes sense. There's a song in level 7, Blues in the Garage, that it would be helpful to have the improv for. You get to level 8 and you can play a G through a D 2 octave scale. So that's what's happening with scales. Bowing, you're working with some slurring patterns. So in level 3, it is around the D major scale. It's mostly slurring 2 notes. The first one, you're not repeating the note, you're just going up the scale. So you're just practicing slurring 2 bows. And then in level 4, it's using the G2 octave scale. You wouldn't want to have your student doing a bowing exercise until they've completed the G2 octave scale in level 4. So first it's just slurring 2 notes to the G2 octave, and then it builds a series of exercises that go through level 7 that are just doing different combos.
I want to also let people know that in the scales, you can transpose it. If you click down in the settings area at the bottom there next to the circle thing, and you scroll down a little bit, and you'll see a little transpose area. And you can change that to say the key of A or the key of B flat. If you want your students to be using a different scale, that is something you can do as well.
A bowing exercise is introduced and comping is introduced. I'm just going to give you that quick overview. They're just working on the root notes of scales of songs in level 3, like Cripple Creek. The exercise walks them through playing the root note. So, which I've been doing that for years, but it's really nice to have a skill where you can assign it and they have a way to practice it at home. In level 4, there's a great video of Duane introducing how to do the chop. And then there's a couple exercises that are working on just the basic chop, so the offbeat chop. The rest of the comping in level 4 go back and forth between playing the root note of slightly more complex songs, playing like a A or C sharp, and then continuing to practice chopping. In level 5, it starts with a video of Duane explaining how to take your root note and then build a chord, the 1 and the 5. Then you get into just playing a double stop, the 1 and the 5 of a chord. I developed these skills in myself by doing these exercises. So hopefully that will be the same for you. And then when you get to level 6, there are some really amazing comping exercises that Bronwyn Keith Hines did. These videos really helped me learn about some really cool comping stuff. It just takes different types of songs where you're working on different comping patterns. So sight reading appears in level 4. And I'll just show you the first exercise. So these are pretty scaffolded. You can kind of guess that they're going to be really simple exercises that might take a max of 5 minutes in the lesson for them to move through. I have a student, he's in level 5, and we got started on sight reading, and I told him, start on this one, and if you want to just assign yourself a bunch and move through them this week in your practice, do that and just show me what exercise you're on at your lesson next week. The last skill for now that we have is vibrato, and vibrato starts in level 6. So these exercises in level 6 are mostly just getting comfortable, relaxing the hand and moving it up and down the neck. So it's also beneficial for shifting prep. So level 7 is basically working on the wiggle, being relaxed. So you're starting very slowly and then getting it up to speed. And then the exercises in level 8, they're harmonies to songs. It's playing harmony lines to songs in the curriculum. And then in level 9, it's taking songs from the curriculum that could use vibrato, like Amazing Grace or La Vie en Rose, Tuppo's Waltz. And then now that they've developed the skill of vibrato, they can go back and play those melodies with vibrato. So I kind of sped through that because I want to show you a document that summarizes the skills. So there's the number of suggested skills for like a very motivated student and the number of suggested skills for a student who doesn't practice. So the way I thought of it is, what is the most basic skill I would want all of my students to come away with? And that's what I put in the category of suggested for the minimally motivated student. I think that those 3 categories of the average, on fire, minimally motivated, basically give my opinion of what I think is the essential, even for the unmotivated student, like what they should do.
Well, thank you all for joining in. And Jessie, thanks for the explanation. Good luck as you get your lessons going.